Blitz, my name is Duncan Tua, and hi, together with Katela Maisi, Fred Arocho, and Miss Washira. We were discussing, before we took a break, we were discussing matters to do with football, matters to do with sports, Club World Cup, Football Kenya Federation Premier League, and even Sekafa Women Championship that is going on in Tanzania. And we also, before we took a break, we also discussing matters to do with the football, matters to do with FC Leopard. Remember, at the end of the month, they will be conducting election, and many people are eyeing the top seat. Not only the top seat, but even the Secretary General seat, the Treasury seat. Zile viti zote ziko hapo zenye mtu anaweza omba apigiwe kura hizo. Nitakuwa nauliza rafiki yangu mwingine hapo kwa nini hakunini ataki kitu pale, because he's been making a lot of noise when it comes to matters FC Leopard here and there. Tumekuwa tukiongea na one of the presidential aspirant, the chairman aspirant, that is Enos Mutokah, akituambia 1-2 why he's saying this top seat, why is he is the right man for the job, and ni kipi ambacho atakuwa anabadilisha hapa na pale to make sure the club wins a title. Gen Z so wanasema hawajaona FC Leopard wakishinda title. Amesema pia the last time FC Leopard won the Football Kenya Premier League title, by then was Kenya Premier League. It has been Kenya Premier League.
Yes.
Football, yeah. Ilikuwa akiwa class 7. Katela umekuwa vile ukismile, umekuwa vile ukimwangalia ni nini? Ni kama una jambo. Sijui nikuachie ulize 2-3 hivi pia.
Takuuliza Mr. Mutokah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are your priorities for the team in the long and short term? 2, you've talked about quality players and technical. So, what are your strategies in player recruitment and development?
Number 1, short-term goals is to have a strong AFC Leopards playing team. And how are we going to achieve that? First, I am not vying to be a coach, and neither am I vying to be a technical director. So my responsibility will be to establish working departments, functional departments, and one of them will be the technical committee department. For a long time, we have goofed when it comes to recruiting and scouting for players. We must get a working technical committee that will have brilliant scouts that will go out there and get us tier 1 players who will come and play for the badge. And then, number 2, the welfare of these players must be taken care of so that we don't have these go-slows and all that. Then once we have recruited, we need to give these players a proper pre-season, proper and quality pre-season, so that when we start the league, we are not just participants, we are competitors in that league. And that can only happen if players are given a proper pre-season. And we already we are discussing to have a partnership with the Mashuuru Sports Complex. It is one of the best sports complex in the country I have ever visited. And we are talking to them so that that's where we'll be taking our team for pre-season. So yes, I'm vying, but I am already speaking to partners who are willing to work with this team. In the long term, I have said, AFC Leopards, we must develop our infrastructure. And I am giving myself that in 2 years' time, AFC Leopards must get a home ground. Every time we start the league, we are told that Nyayo is our home ground. But how many times do we train at Nyayo? We don't. And therefore, we must get a training ground for this club going forward.
Okay, from the young generation or the Gen Z perspective,
yes.
Anaitwa Washira Ishizia na pia ana jambo pia. Kwa hivyo nitakuwa namwacha kidogo pia ulize jambo.
Asante.
I think you're very clear on what you want to do. But I have 2 questions.
Yes.
When do you think AFC will be able to compete for top flight? Is it next year? Is it in 2 years? Is it in 3 years? When do you see, especially right now, with the kind of investment that you've seen in Police FC, the kind of transfers, the kind of leadership there, look at what Gor Mahia is doing to revamp. When do you think you can compete? Look at Kakamega Homeboys coming up. When do you think you'll be able to compete in top flight? Is it next year? Is it in 2 years? And my second question is in regards to Kujaza Stadium. I think FC Leopards this season recorded the highest amount in revenue in a home match at Nyayo Stadium. Do you think encouraging fans to come and show up for games will play a big role in revenue? Because I've had Arocho asking, what happens when you lose sponsors? Is that 5 million, 6 million you collect in home games enough to run?
Thank you so much. Starting with your first question, when are we going to be in the top flight competing? We are starting this coming season. Police are the new kid on the block, and they have just taken the league, but they have been raiding us so much, taking our very good talent in the likes of Marvin Buired when they raided us. But they have been doing this because of our finances. We have not been having financial stability that can help us to retain our players. And that's why most of our talent has been going. We want to make sure that we are financially sustainable to retain our talent and compete in this league. And that's why I'm saying we want to increase sponsorships to the club so that we can be able to retain these players and get the tier 1. For a long time, FC Leopards has been signing like tier 3, tier 4 players. Yeah. We must get back to that competition when we are signing and even on the pitch. And I'm saying to the Gen Zs who just hear of AFC Leopards, we are coming back to compete this coming season. And I am promising members that what I saw in the second half in Homa Bay, the way our team played and how they played yesterday, we just need a few additions to the team, and we will be in this league to compete. And Kenya Police, please keep for us that trophy, because we are coming for it next season. We are taking it home. Secondly, you asked about revenues that we collect at Get Collections. That is not enough. But again, as a community, people who love football, we are told football was made in Western Kenya. For us as AFC Leopards, what we need to do is just to win matches, and we will attract these numbers even in a bigger way to come and watch our team play. If those of us who were at Nyayo during the Mashemeji Derby, we saw how AFC Leopards is loved, we saw how AFC Leopards can bring back football in this country. And therefore, we are promising them for wins, we are promising them for a tough competition from our side, and therefore, when they come to the stadium, gada itakuwa inachezwa ya kihakika kwamba tumeshinda.
Na ikichezwa tukihakikisha kwa inashindwa pia. I want you to listen to this and then you elaborate to us. This is you. Wacha tusikie kwanza, alafu then he'll come and elaborate more.
Behind the scenes, and I'm proud to say that some of the things that are already happening at the club are because of yours truly here. And as Victor has rightly put it, Victor is the founder and the owner of Mashuuru Sports Complex. So him standing here, it tells you already have partners who are willing to work with us as a team, as a club. And we are going to partner with Victor so that the team can start having pre-seasons at Mashuuru Sports Complex. So be prepared that we want to bring AFC Leopards back to its glory days. And one of that thing is financial sustainability and stability for the club. We are going to bring more sponsors on board, more partners on board, and more money on board to AFC Leopards.
Ndio race na pia tukiangalia the race to the top seat, there are also other aspirants wako pale pia, and everyone anasema I'm the right man for this job. Someone will say, you know, I played for this club, I've achieved a lot with this club. I understand the culture as a player, I understand the culture as a leader, I've been in different other clubs. What makes you Kakua different than those who will come in and say, I'm part of this, I'm part of the culture of FC Leopard, I've been a player tangu nikiwa mdogo?
As I have said, I am not vying to be a coach. I am not vying to be a technical director. I am vying to be that manager that AFC Leopards has been lacking, to bring resources to this club. Because we have rightly said that the problem of the club is getting quality players, is getting a quality technical bench. And therefore, what will make us get these quality players and retain them at the club is finances. And therefore the biggest issue we have at the club today, the biggest challenge is money. And we need someone who has connections, who can go out there and bring finances to this club. Once this club is sustainable financially, and look at the clubs that have won the league in the past 5 years. We have had Gor Mahia, we have had Tusker, now we have Police. Police have a budget. Today they pride themselves of having 3 sponsors on board. AFC Leopards, we are only priding ourselves as having 1 sponsor on board. Yet we are saying that our following is over 6 million. We must use these numbers to get corporates back on board. So it's not about that I was a player, I don't know I scored how many goals. That was in the past. We are looking at the future, and our future must be met by someone who is innovative, someone who has ideas to bring money and finances to this club.
There's something that we mentioned about the infrastructure. Tuliona game ikiarishwa hapa na pale, because the Nyayo, clubs like FC Leopard have been depending so much on Nyayo, Kasarani, City Stadium sometimes back then.
Yes.
But then now that hakukuwa na option, the derby kaabishwa hapa na pale. Mashuru, you have mentioned something to do with Mashuru, that will be your first destination when it comes to pre-season.
Yes.
You haven't mentioned about anything to do with coming up with the ideas of building your own stadia. Excuses as it that even the clubs like Chelsea doesn't have their own stadiums. But then again, we are not like Chelsea. FC Leopard is not like Chelsea. Someone will tell you, the likes of Simba, Yanga, whom you guys are looking up to, munaangalia sana. And a few years ago, they were looking up to you guys.
Yes.
Wamekuja, wameruka. Technology is coming up. New ideas are coming up. No one is mentioning about FC Leopard building their own stadia. Kuna mipango, ipo, hapa na pale, kulikuwa na uwanja. Sometimes back kulikuwa na uwanja, mlikuwa mmeambiwa mmepewa pale nyuma ya Kasarani. Nowadays, hiyo story iongelewi. Hakuna mtu anapiga hiyo story. Kusijui kuliendaje hapa na pale. There's a time I hosted the CEO. Ananiambia uwanja pia iko bado. Basi uwanja pia ukiangalia. Tuambiane ukweli ni kama haiko. Any plans of coming up with a new infrastructure, na hizi plans zitakuwa tendaje to make sure that hizi si stories za jaba tunasema. Hii ni kitu ambayo ni achievable.
I have said in my 4th pillar of infrastructure development that we need to get a home for AFC Leopards. We are a laughing stock in this country. 61 years down the line, we have no place to call home for AFC Leopards. With the kind of fan base that we have, we need someone who is innovative, someone who will go out there and say this is what is needed for the club, and they pull up their sleeves and make sure that they go for it. You have talked about the Kasarani land. Kasarani land was given to this club way back before some of us were actually born, by the late former president Daniel Moi. And it was given to both AFC Leopards and Gor Mahia. During Ingwe at 60, the then sports cabinet secretary, Ababu Namwamba, took the club to State House, and the paperwork for that land was presented to the president. The president directed the cabinet secretary to do a cabinet memo so that this land will not just be given to AFC Leopards alone, but now it should be given to AFC Leopards, Gor Mahia, and Shabana as community clubs. But because the land now is under sports stadium management, it can only be leased. We are seeing hotels coming up in airport lands. It is because those hotels are leasing that land. And the president directed that the land should be leased to these 3 clubs for 60 years. As the cabinet secretary was working on that, Gen Z happened, and they went home, and the cabinet was reshuffled. As we speak, that issue is still at the president's desk, and once I get in, I will try and push it. But if it doesn't work, I have said that is not going to be the only place I'll be hopeful to get land. I have gone to Mashuru, and when we were in Mashuru, it is 2.5 hours from Nairobi. We asked around and we were told land there, an acre goes for between 250 and 300,000. We will put our heads together as a club. And if you go here at DStv, there's also another land that I visited, about 40 acres, 10 minutes from DStv University. An acre there is going for 8 million. But we will look at our finances, and that's why I've said we need to make sure that we have more revenue sources for the club. One of them being merchandise. We need to increase our sales of merchandise here. We are a big club, yet we sell merchandise in hundreds. We need to start selling our merchandise every season in thousands. And that's why I said we need to look at the pricing so that anyone who has 1,000, 2,000, all the way to 5,000 can get merchandise in the club. And it's not just about replicas, but we diversify so that anyone who wants anything, to don anything to do with AFC Leopards, they get it. Then we are going to increase corporate sponsors on board, and we know the current budget of AFC Leopards is about 150 million.
Yeah.
If we increase this to 200, we will have a surplus that will help us to get this infrastructure in place.
Katela wanted to inject something to do with women football.
Yes.
I think you are the right person to do that.
Yes, I have two. I have two. One about currently FC. I don't think you have a female team. We had
Why not FC Leopard ladies team?
We had that Makolandas. Makolandas, it was a team. Mulichukua team.
Yes.
Like you didn't form your team, but you went mtaani mkachukua team, which is fine because it's a requirement to have to play for the CAF. You have to have a female team, right? Now, my question is, why didn't you form mwende mtaani? You form your own team, because you can see Premier League players wanachukua. Makolandas ni Nairobi peke yake. A lot of players are actually from Nairobi.
Yes.
You know? Now, secondly, you've talked about quality players. Now, as I understand, most teams have trials. So maybe a player can want to play for FC. What do you mean by quality player? And at least when trials comes up, mchezaji asi waste time yake na fair huenda trial ya FC na yeye si quality material yenye wanataka. So what do you mean by quality players, and why didn't you form your own team, instead went and took? You bought ama mulichukua team? Because that story is the kitambo when I was still playing football.
Because angalia your cousins. They have Gor Mahia, FC women,
yes,
something.
Madare
yes.
has.
Police also has. Police took Thika United.
Actually,
FC Leopard, Makolandas.
Yeah, Makolandas.
Why not FC Leopard?
Let me just add something that you can add on.
Yeah.
The other thing we're not seeing with FC Leopards, a prominent youth team. You see, if you look at Kariobangi, there's Kariobangi youth. Tusker, there's Tusker youth. Madare has Madare youth, even to the level of under 12, under 14.
Yeah.
So why? Okay, not why. What would you? Is that part of your agenda?
Your focus is only on the male team.
The men team, and winning the title.
Yes.
And beating police. Okay. No. On women football, and the youth football, and peer
quality.
Player.
My manifesto is quite diverse, that if we started discussing it here in detail, I will actually take like 3 hours.
Guzia too.
And so
key points.
Summarize them in the like.
Yes, all the aspects that we are mentioning here are actually captured. And when I was the commercial director to this club, I brought in a partner who was helping us manage the youth team. And at that time, the youth team, through that partner, we had a ground paid for a whole year. The youth team was accessing that ground anytime they wanted. In fact, they had facilities more than the senior team through that partner. And it's because of that that we started developing real talent, that when we had the FIFA ban some years back, we promoted 7 youth players to the senior team. Some of them are still there in the squad up to now, the likes of Aguero, the likes of Maxwell Otieno. And therefore, when we had that partner, we were already looking into starting a women's team for AFC Leopards. And so before that CAF regulation came in place, if we had continued with that partner, today we will be having a women's team that is supported and functional for the club. I am one of the proponents who said we do not need to go for these microwave kind of solutions, that when something comes, you want to quickly fix it as if the world is ending tomorrow. I have said that as a club and a big brand we are, We do not need to buy a women's team. We do not need to partner. We can start our own women team. And that's why I'm saying once I am elected, I will look at the contract that is there with Macolandas and look at the exit clause so that AFC Leopards start building its own team. When, back home, my immediate neighbor is the coach of Butere Girls. He used to be the coach of Nyakach, and you can see how the two schools are giants in women football. We have been discussing, he has given me ideas, and I know we will engage such professionals to help us start our own women team, and we are coming to compete. Again, Kenya Police ladies team, we are again coming for that cup, keep it for us. And as I finish, on the competitive youth team, we already had one. Today, if you look at what is happening, our youth team, it is in a sorry state because some people at the club, when they came, they sent away that partner. We are still in touch, we are still in contact. We want to speak to such partners, they come and help us at the club.
Arocho? Sijui kama bado yuko. Naelewa pia kidogo. Mabei imefanya ile mambo lakini Kisumu anyway. Yuko Kisumu lakini atakuwa anarudi baadaye. Tuambia ni nini anasema. Anyway, wacha tusikize tena again. We listen to you during your campaign and then utuambie tu. Anyway, let's listen to him and then turudi tena.
We won a league title for the last 27 years. We want to rediscover the lost glory for this club. That is the first thing we are going to do. We want to make sure that AFC Leopards roars back and brings out its claws back in this league. We don't want just to be participants, but we are going to present the right competition in this league. And I want to assure my supporters that we are going to win the league this coming season.
Some fans they are clapping at you. Yes. You appear my fans tell me your campaign will clap. You have talked about you working with the legends. The pia time inatupiga chenga. I understand we have less than 2 minutes for you. So I want you to wrap up into 2 minutes. Naambiwa tuendelee. We have all the time. We have all the time.
Ameruka,
okay.
Question yangu ya quality players.
Yeah, quality players.
I need to know these
quality players.
There are we have a lot of talents mtaani, a lot of good talents.
Hata mimi ni.
But they want to see the big teams, but akifika hapo kwa mlango anaambiwa bado. So we want to know what do you mean, what you meant by quality players. You want to bring in quality players when you are chosen as the chairman.
First, thank you, Atela. AFC Leopards is not a place for trials. It is not a place for trials. When you are coming to play at AFC Leopards, yafaa tayari uwe umeiva. And we know quality players in this league. When we talk about strikers, we already know who are the top strikers. Those are the people, the players we need to go for in this league. When we talk about goalkeepers, we know who are the top goalkeepers in this country. Those are the qualities that we need at AFC Leopards. AFC Leopards is not a place to come for trials. And that's why we are saying we need to establish a competitive youth team. That is where we'll be doing trials. That's where we'll be identifying talent so that by the time you come to the senior team, umeiva, and you are ready to play for the badge. You are ready to play for AFC Leopards. And that's what I meant by quality players.
I have a question. Does it mean once you get in, you will do a complete overhaul of the technical teams in terms of coaches, in terms of technical directors, in terms of scouting team? What happens? Are you planning to retain the current coaches, the current technical team, or are you bringing new blood?
I will be a chairman who will want to look at performance contracting. And when we look at our technical bench, we will weigh what has been their achievements, and under what circumstances were those achievements achieved, and what were the failures, and what led to those failures. And once we analyze that, we will know whether we have a good coach that we need to retain or let go. Because football, yes, it's emotional, But when you're working for a club, it's not about emotions. It is about delivering results. And so we won't just retain you because of emotional attachment or release you because of emotions. We will look at your performance and look at your contract, whether you achieved the targets that you are given. If you achieved, well and good. If you did not achieve, then we need another person who will come and give us those results.
All right, let me take a short break kidogo, alafu turejee. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to AFC Leopard and building a greater team, because it's one of the best. It's one of the best teams when it comes to fans. Like you've mentioned, not quality players. Anyway, let's take a break kidogo hivi alafu turejee.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth, as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home, do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hat
Welcome back again. This is TV47 Monday Blitz. Leo tumeamua tunasonga for like 2 hours. Anyway, my name is Dan Kamtua. This is Monday Blitz. I'm not alone. Katela Maisi, she's here. First time in the show. Sema leo. Na pia utakuwa part of the show anyway.
Utakuwa part of the show, yes.
Yeah. Familiar face. Washira, she's here. And also FC Leopard chairman Aspirant, Mutokah, Enos is here. Amekuwa akituambia why he thinks he's the right man for the right man for the job, but is he really the right man? We've talked about his agendas and what the plans that he has for FC Leopard to make sure in a match the likes of Steam, the likes of Police, the likes of Gor Mahia, because when a match the likes of Gor Mahia when it comes to the fans, but on the field performance inakuwa tofauti sana. Sijakuuliza hii kuhusu where do you think the likes of Police are getting it right? Police ndo wamekuja, wamewapata. They are getting it right. Ndo hii Champions League wameingia. FC Leopard ndo hii. They are the next season of next season of Kenya. Sababu like hapo umesema before umeanza na kusema Police were coming for that title.
Yes.
Do you really guys mean that you guys are coming for this title? Maisi, I have a question about in terms of player recruitment, because you have said you need quality players.
Yes.
When you look at the best team in the world, the likes of PSG, they tried that project of the best players. They brought in the likes of Neymar, they brought in the likes of Messi, they brought in the likes of Kylian Mbappe. But then you look at the squad that won the Champions League. It's the youngest squad in the whole tournament. Let me say the whole championship, minus Arsenal.
Just even take a look at Barcelona.
Take a look at Barcelona, recruitment from the academy. They are winning the Champions League. They are winning the Premier League, the La Liga with the academy.
And also, even if you look at, sorry for interrupting, yes. If you look at Kariobangi Sharks and the age, I think it's currently fielding the youngest team in the, yes, and
they have an academy from under 10. They're starting under 10.
But your agenda is quality players, but not building those quality players.
Yes. No, I've already talked about talent identification and development at the youth team level, not at the senior team level. When you come to FC Leopards, it's not about developing you at the senior team. And when we talk about Kariobangi Sharks, what title have they won with those youthful players? But yes, they play good football, they play well on the pitch. Look at Kenya Police, the new kid on the block. But look at the stars they have. Look at the quality they have, both on the pitch and on the bench. And that's why they are winning the league today. When you look at Gor Mahia started getting it right when they started getting good players being scouted, the likes of Medi Kagere, and that's when the Gor Mahia got back to winning ways. FC Leopards, we are saying we are not able to get those players because today quality players wants to go to Gor Mahia because they have a good budget, they wants to go to Kenya Police because they have a good budget, wants to go to Tusker because they have a good budget. FC Leopards, I have said, we are getting tier 3 players because all these other quality players, good players, stars have gone to these other teams, and now we are getting these tier 3 players. We must get finances for us to start competing in the signings and on the pitch.
Just a quick one. Yes. You've said Police have won this league. I think they came in Premier League 3 years ago, right? Yeah. So they've won because finances and everything. Now, for FC, yes. How many years? When last did FC win?
98.
So you want to say all that time, hamjakuwa na finances, or something was wrong na just FC Leopard? Because we say that you've not won this title this year because of the finances. FC has been there. There's a time you had sponsors. There's a time FC was big. So what happened during that time? There was a time mulikuwa na pesa, yeah. Kwa time mulikuwa na chapa. So what happened?
And also,
nini liwazuia kushinda since the money was there?
And also, okay. He also mentioned that he is the person who brought in
yes.
The current sponsors. Mm-hmm. But the sponsors came, same results. ulileta sponsors, but then again you didn't bring some of the agendas. Ukasema ndio nimeleta nini, ndio our sponsors, and this is what we need to do. This is the kind of players that we need to bring in to win the league. Yeah, sponsors wako umesema umewaleta, lakini uliwaleta tu haya pesa ipo basi tucheze ball.
Nimesema nimeleta sponsor ambaye ni mmoja. We need to work on making sure that we have more sponsors. Police today has won the league because they have star players. How many sponsors do they have? They have 3 sponsors on board. And so we need to make sure that we increase our corporate sponsors to make sure that we meet our budget. I have said AFC Leopards needs upwards of 150 million per season to make sure that our programs run smoothly and well. Our current sponsor is giving us about 60 million per year. And so you see there's that deficit. And Gor Mahia, on the other hand, they are being given more money and they have other local support, which AFC Leopards doesn't have. Why haven't we won the league from all that long? It's because first we've also have issues to do with leadership wrangles at the club, where you find people bringing in 2 sponsors of the same caliber at the same time. Then they start fighting. We have people withdrawing money left, right, center, and misusing funds. But when you look at the last about 5 years, AFC Leopards has gone through one of the roughest times and moments in any history of the club. I know of one of my competitors who said that he was handling a certain team and then COVID came and that team winded up. AFC Leopards, if we had such leaders, it would have winded up during COVID time because we had the worst time ever and season as a club in terms of finances. We had no sponsor. Matches were being played behind closed doors. So even that gate collection that you would get and support the club was not there. And that time we had foreign players, especially from Rwanda, who took this club to FIFA, and then we got the ban because we did not have finances to pay those players. But if we survived through that dark moment in the club, then I can tell you that once we get the right sponsors with the right amounts of sponsorship, we are going to make sure that we are competitors in this league.
Okay.
I think I have a question.
Yes.
Will you say you are saying that Police won the league because of star players and because of sponsorship? Look at a team like Morangasil. Morangasil is currently fighting relegation, but they have one of the biggest budgets in terms of sponsorship. So you're coming to the club saying you'll bring sponsorship, but is it enough? Is it enough is that what AFC needs to win? Is that the biggest pillar? Is that what is missing in the club currently? And the second question, you mentioned something about embezzlement, battle allocation, something that in those 27 years that you didn't win, there was an issue with management.
Yes.
So can you talk about what are you going to put in place?
What will bring in different?
Yeah, what will be different?
We need to do our things at the club above board. You know, there are times that you can be seated on a table and people are playing cards under the table. We need to make sure that we play our cards on the table. And how do we do this? We must make sure that we have our audited financial statements coming in on a quarterly basis, so that those sponsors that are supporting us have that confidence in what we are doing as a club. And even the members have also that confidence to audit us, to query us, and see that indeed something is happening at the club that is transparent. Police FC, I will tell you for free, have won the league because they have top stars in the league in this country. And they are retaining those top stars because of their budget, because of their sponsors that they have. I may not know so much about what is happening at Morangasil, but I know they have only one sponsor. And when you have one sponsor, you will keep struggling because again, the sponsor may be stretched and money doesn't come in on time. And that way, You cannot go to a player who wants to pay his rent and start telling them stories. You demoralize such a player. You need to make sure that the welfare of that player is well taken care of, so that they do not struggle and they are focused when they come on the pitch to play for the club. And therefore, finances is our biggest focus at the moment, so that we get finances for this club for us to be able to take care of the welfare of players, technical bench, and other things that surround the playing unit.
I want us to move on from the AFC Leopard. The AFC Leopard elections set to take place set to take place at the end of this month. But before we move on, maybe your last in 2 minutes, your last words when it comes to the whole election. Why you are the right man? Where this and this need to be corrected, and what should we expect if you
are elected?
Don't win.
If I don't win, there's nothing in that vocabulary. I am going for this, and I am winning this seat by 10 a.m. in the morning. First, allow me to thank all members and the fans who are watching. But for the members who are eligible to vote, I am humbly requesting that you vote me come 29th of August, so that we start walking the journey of bringing back the winning ways for the club. I am requesting you that we want a manager for this club. We are not short of getting a technical director. We are not short of getting players. And therefore, please vote for me, so that we start walking the journey of rebuilding our brand, rebuilding our club, and the first thing that we need is more corporate sponsors on board. As I finish, there are only 3 responsibilities that are given to a member of any club. In our club, the responsibility of a member is to first pay and renew their membership. Responsibility number 2 is to attend matches in big numbers, so that we rally behind our team as the 12th player for the team to win. And then number 3 responsibility is to buy merchandise that we have talked about. We are going to diversify, and also to make sure that they have a reduced price. And therefore, someone should not come here and start telling you that you will be contributing 1,000 every month for this team. That is not your responsibility. The responsibility you are giving me as a chairman is to make sure that the club is financially sustainable through innovative ways, and ways that I've already proven that I can do in terms of bringing corporate sponsors on board. Okay,
we are going to look at matters to do with the African Nations Championship, that is CHAN, set to take place in August. And you being part of the stakeholders, I also need to hear your segment. I also need to hear your words on this tournament that Kenya will be hosting. Again, Kenya will be hosting, will be co-hosting with Uganda and Tanzania. But then, before we get into matters CHAN, let's listen to this story and how far are we ahead of this championship that tumekuwa doubtful sana, whether Kenya will be hosting, whether Kenya wamekuwa sluggish when it comes to preparation. Remember Nyayo, Kasarani, some of the hotels, infrastructure zinatuvuta nyuma kidogo. Let's listen to the story if we are ready, and then after tutakuwa na discuss slightly whether this tournament will be possible for Kenya to host.
With the African Nations Championships fast approaching, rumor had it that Kenya wasn't ready to call much awaited continental showpiece. However, contrary to the opinion shared by many, things on ground look quite different, with all the facilities on track to meet the set deadline.
We are satisfied that what the doubting Thomas have been saying about Kenya hosting CHAN and AFCON, we want to confirm to them that yes, Kenya is ready, and the 2 tournaments will be held without any hitches.
Confirm to all Kenyans that we are ready to host CHAN, and in effect we are also ready to host AFCON.
The Kasarani Stadium in particular is in the brink of a historic moment. Set to be a centerpiece of the upcoming championship, the iconic venue is set to be handed over by contractors on June 25th.
We have agreed with all contractors, both for this field and all the other fields, training grounds in Police Circle, Nyayo and Kasarani, that they will be handing over the key on the 25th of this month.
Nyayo Stadium is also getting final security enhancements ahead of the tournament slated for early August.
The wall that we are doing in Nyayo is part of the recommendations to strengthen security. And away from the wall, which is in good progress, 60%, we will also fix CCTV gadgets so that they can properly link with the internal system.
Furthermore, the sports ministries of Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania are working with immigration services to approve the Pamoja visa, easing travel for players and fans across the three countries.
Thank you. The issues of visa, you know, we have already met the three ministers of Pamoja, which is Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania. And we are trying to also engage our other ministries in charge of immigration to see how the visa process will be enhanced but seamless during the tournament.
Even more enticing, Kenya's legacy project Talanta Sports City, set to be a key host for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, is on track, with the stadium expected to be ready by December.
We are delivering Talanta by December 2025. We have a monthly milestone.
Talanta Stadium is going on very well. It's a flagship project which started from the beginning. And I can see we are going to beat time, as we had said. It's going to be over in 2025 December.
Construction of the stadiums has created over 5,000 jobs, with the government also focused on engaging youth and investing in more sports facilities.
That the percentage of the budget of this country, much more of it should come to the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Creative Arts. For the reason is, if we do not occupy this youth now, they will occupy Parliament tomorrow. And that is something that we don't want to get to.
This is the view from the 60,000 capacity Kasarani International Stadium in Nairobi, Kenya, which is among the host venues of the upcoming African Nation Championships alongside Tanzania and Uganda. And with less than 90 days to go until the much-awaited showpiece kicks off, it is safe to say that finally, Kenya is ready. Zuki Allen for TV47 Sports.
Anyway, Zuki Allen, thank you. Great job, Pokifanya. That's our very own Zuki Allen, our sports reporter, reporting on matters to do with preparation for the African Nations Championship set to take place in 2025, opportunity 2024, because the tournament was set to take place last year. Ikambo itakuja February. The February tournament didn't happen because Kenya was not ready. Part of the, not really Kenya, but some of the nations were not ready. Morocco pia wakaamua pia sisi ni kama hatutaki pia host because we have a lot that we are hosting. Katela, quickly on the African Nation Championship preparation. Unaweza ongea pia unaweza guzia pia the group stage.
Me group stage kwanza, wacha niseme kwanza first things there's something imesemwa that if a country yuko ready to host, I don't think they should postpone. Hiyo ingefaa. Right? A tournament iendelee, let the hosting country wajipange for next. Now, about the group stages, Kenya is in Group A with Zambia, Angola, Morocco, DRC. Kuna timu nimeacha nje? Manze, tuko na kazi sana. Tuko na kibarua, not unless Zambia, but tuko na Morocco, you know. Yeah. Morocco washaishinda some time back, right? But anyway, all the best to Team Kenya. Daima.
Hizi infrastructure tumeongelea kuhusu Leopard ndio pia zimehangaisha Kenya.
Zimehangaisha Kenya.
Anyway, on your take when it comes to CHAN 2020.
For me, CHAN is a blessing for this country. Exactly. It's a blessing because for a long time we've only been relying on two stadiums, that is Nyayo and Kasarani. And again, when you look at even the stadiums themselves, they were in a sorry state. Why I'm saying it's a blessing, now we are going to have Talanta Stadium, we are going to have a revamped Kasarani Stadium, we are going to have a revamped Nyayo Stadium, and even other stadiums are coming up like Ulinzi, Police Circle Stadium, and Buhungu. But then, as a country, we have this problem, the last minute person. We have that mentality that I will always wait to the very last moment for me to start doing something. We are talking about hosting CHAN in August. We were told Talanta Stadium will be ready by that time. We are still hopeful that even in our last minute rush that it will be complete. But for me, I am happy that we took that bullet of hosting CHAN, and that's why now we have infrastructure development taking place in the country. As I come in as the AFC Leopards chairman, I will have a choice to make whether I want to that variety of stadiums to choose from where I want to play, and I hope AFC Leopards will take on Talanta Stadium. We want to fill it up, and that's where we will celebrate our victory of the league.
At least you'll be having options as you build your own stadium.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I think CHAN as a tournament is doing very badly because you cannot stand and say tuna postpone your tuna venue. Look at what happened with the under-21 Africa Cup of Nations. I think Egypt, was it Egypt? Morocco dropped out, then Egypt came in and stood. But for us as Kenya, this is a very big plus because, I mean, we're trying to get back that Kenyan culture that we, for going to the field, that we didn't have, that we have lost over the years. So CHAN will bring back fans to the stadium. And that's what we're looking forward to because tukiweza kujaza CHAN, AFCON nini tatushinda.
Okay.
But in terms of group stage, I am very sad. Maybe we won't go too far. But muhimu ni tumehost.
Anyway, naambiwa nimalize, but do we really have to wait for certain tournaments for us to build our own infrastructure? We have to build Talanta because we're hosting AFCON. We have to renovate Kasarani and Nyayo because we are hosting CHAN. But we have to wait until there's a tournament. Anyway, thank you, Katela. See you on Monday. See you on the ground.
Thank you.
All the campaigns. See you on Monday. It has been Monday Blitz. Katela, Mutokah, and Ms. Washira wamenisaidia in terms of analysis. They are well informed sports journalists and sports analysts when it comes to the field of sports. My name is Duncan Mtua, and Monday Blitz tumemaliza. See you on Monday and goodbye.